All right, so I'm back now, not streaming the music. It would have probably get my stream to be silent. But I'm back for another coding stream. So hey everyone, how are you? I'm streaming myself working on a fun rhythm game. Hopefully you're all good. Okay, so the first thing I can do here is, first of all, let's do something like using shared note equals shared pointer. This would actually not be a not shared pointer pretty soon. It's going to be something like a ref counted thing so that it doesn't get erased on the audio thread. So there's some optimizations that I'm kind of planning ahead here. Also, what I want to do is like currently I'm constructing this from I'm playing I have a player for multiple sequences. I don't know if I love that. I might want to change that pretty well, it might be a good time to do this right now. But I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to refactor this so that each player has its own sequence, so that they're separate. Because I think there's going to be situations where, and I'm probably going to get into this situation now, where each player needs to output like separate MIDI for a separate sound source. And right now it's all kind of combined. I don't love that. Yeah, so let's start with that. Let's start with, so that the sequence player, currently the sequence player just parses. Oh, and first of all, I have this thing where this is really not good. So I do this thing now where the sequence gets, let's do this in a better way. Let's do so that the sequence itself, yeah, so the sequence itself should be constructed with like things from here, like MIDI file from started. So I'll say hi to Lior, who's been watching the previous streams, I believe. Thank you for tuning in. I'm hoping this is somewhat educational. Yeah, so what I want to do now is I want to refactor this a little bit because I'm going to I want to refactor my sequencer part a little bit. Because what I'm going to do is, first of all, I want to make sure that each sequence can play in its own instrument. You can think of in the very near future, there'll be like a bass instrument and a melody instrument. They'll be separate. Maybe there will be a sampler here for the drums or something like that. So this is something that I expect would come up pretty soon. And the other thing I want to do is I want to start constructing things that's more like levels. So I want, currently the sequencer is just like playing notes, just a regular sequencer. But because it's a game, I actually want to start constructing levels perhaps programmatically. And then I would probably, it would help me to have like this separation where each player has its own sequence. And then there's going to be some parsing. That right now I have the player do the parsing from MIDI, like what I did with Rush E, which I still want to do. I want to still support this feature because it will really help me build levels from existing MIDI files. But I want to encapsulate it a little bit better. So, okay. So currently, so here I have the sequence that gets created from a message sequence. Probably not a bad idea. And how to do this here? Here. Oh, okay. So this kind of works. This is good. I just need to make this to be a function. So what I need, let's make a struct called multi-sequence or something. And that thing has just this past here, because both of these stuff, they're just internal to the player. These stuff, they're more like internal player state. They're probably not needed for the sequence itself. And this stuff, construct the player. So I don't need to construct the player with the file at all. I just need a function. I need a function that says create from file, or even just here I can use it like a multi-sequence file. And this would basically do everything that the previous thing would do, but I can also have a regular constructor, which I probably would need. The player, when it processes, can just take a sequence. So MIDI buffer transport. At least now, I think that I can. Yeah, I think for now I should be able to. So even process different sequences each buffer. So we'll see how that would work. But I should be able to just take. I should be able to just take a sequence. And I don't need to go through all the sequences here. I can probably just deal with one. I think that's fine. So just go through, just call it sec. So just go through all the nodes here. No need for this. Instead of just doing a for loop, you can just store this for the one sequence. Call this time, but this probably should be named duration. This is musical duration, by the way, not in seconds or anything. Oh, come on. No, let's call this duration. Duration. Yeah, and then I'll just store this kind of like temporary state. Yeah, I think this should be okay. So so there's going to be one player that runs through a specific sequence, and if I want, I can perhaps create a multiplayer. This can run this, so this can just be the default. Probably just start moving all this stuff through other files. This file became a mess. Okay, sorry, it was mid-game. Didn't hear much at the start. Streams are very educational. All right, awesome. Hopefully this is helpful. This is also me doing a lot of thinking, so hopefully it's not too confusing. Feel free to ask questions, write comments. Yeah, so let's see that this works. So I have this. I also need to do something like a multiplayer. Not void, but struct multiplayer. Multiplayer should have just a vector of players. This would just be a helpful thing for the situation of the MIDI that I have right now. And what this would do is let's start by having like int max players equals let's pick some, I don't know, 16 or something. And that would have been just resize to max players. And when I process this, I'm going to take the multi-sequence and then mediator transport. Yeah, and for now, what this is just going to do is going to go through index equals sec.sequences.size index equals 0, index less than this, plus index, and then players index process sec sequences index and MIDI transfer. That will help me recreate the previous functionality. This is reference. This will help me recreate the previous functionality of the sequencer for the sake of the MIDI thing, because I could construct a multi-sequence, pass it to this one just for the little test, so we can see that everything works as it did before. And then I'm going to start adding functionality. So let's first test. I'll need to go to my processor. Now I have two different things here. Instead of the player cannot be constructed like this anymore. Instead, I need a sequencer multi-sequence. That's going to be the sequence. Sequence, and the sequence can be constructed with this little rush E MIDI file. The player doesn't need anything to be constructed with. It should be fine. But when I'm playing it, it should be passing the sequence. Now it's not a player. It's going to be a multiplayer. But the multiplayer is going to actually be removed pretty soon. It's just for convenience. So the multiplayer can process a multi-sequence. That's good. And I think the editor might also get angry at me for doing this. So instead of getting this, it needs, instead of the player, it's going to take the multi-sequence. I call this duration. Duration. That's good. And then when I construct this thing, it now needs the plugin.sequence. I think this should be okay. Let's see if we can still play Rush E. Looks good. See if the next part shows up. It's okay. Good. So one reason why I wanted to do this, let's commit this first. So sequencer added a separate player for each individual sequence. So we did that. And now something I also want to do, which would be helpful actually in the case of Rush E, because Rush E, probably need to do that, right? So the currently, what this thing does is that this thing just puts all the MIDI notes kind of in the same buffer on the same channel. But probably what I need to do is kind of divide this either by MIDI channel or just because I could probably think of a way where each one is basically read into another synth. And this will be helpful because like stuff like Rush E, and you see that there's like overlapping ranges between the parts. We'll probably need to make like a simpler test to test this, but there's overlapping notes, and then if it's played through the same synth, one note might steal the note from the other part, and it sounds kind of weird. So I want to start refactoring this, but maybe before I do that, first of all, what I want to do is I want to start with, I want to start constructing our level manually, and then maybe we can set up a bit of looping. And so I want to start with like a level that we have like 4 notes, something super simple, or instead of Rush E, which is great. I'll keep that for testing, but so let's start with something simple. Let's think of how we're going to do this. One of the problems by using a beta of my IDE of CLAN is that I'm getting meaningless errors that I'm trying to report to them with the hope that they'll fix them. Rush A, sorry, Rush E. I think that's what it's called, Rush E, right? That's the track that we did last time. Rush E. I think that's the name of that amazing meme track, which we would come back to because it's a great stress test for this little engine. But I want to start by moving forward on a few game things. So first of all, I can probably remove this. This is something that I made just test CPU off stream. I wanted to optimize a few things, which I did. Like one of the things that I discovered was that I was using this thing called JUCE range, which seems very naive. It's called this like class range something JUCE range. So it seems pretty naive because it's got, it's basically a wrapper with a bunch of functions around start and end, right? And I was using that for quite a few things in the sequencer. But the problem is I found out that for something like Rush E, where I had a lot and lots of notes, I was actually seeing a big performance problem, especially in debug builds, by just constructing it, because this thing tries to limit the value on construction here with the JMax. And JMax is just, just a branch, right? Just like an if statement. But the thing is, I was constructing many, many thousands of those in each block, and I didn't want to take that cost in the processing block. So what I did was I switched everything, including my transport calculation, for example, to use my own time range instead, which is much simpler. It doesn't do any. It basically, it kind of assumes that you would construct the range correctly. Doesn't do any validation on it. And I put a few of the little helper functions that I usually use: intersects, contains, get end, with start end. So I basically just made something much simpler than the JUCE one that performs way better when you have thousands and thousands of elements, especially in the process block, which is the our processing sensitive part of this. Anyway, this is just something that I did. Now, and also, by the way, I did a clipper. This is a fun thing. This is the most basic thing you can add in a processing section. It's a clipper. Just because something like Rush E sometimes overloads, the chain with a lot synth, and I found out that if I was not having a clipper there, I was gonna get a crazy volume, and some DAWs actually would mute me. I tried it like Reaper. Reaper above a certain volume just mutes your whole synth for a while. This was kind of annoying, so I put a clipper, just like the most basic clipper that does not let you go beyond 0 dB. Okay, so this is it, and then what else did I want to do? Okay, so let's start by see if we can instead of doing this, let's see if we can construct our own thing. And I still have multi-sequence here. Let's stick with multi-sequence for now. But so I'm just gonna manually by hands construct a sequence. So my sequence, I'm gonna do something like create new. So I go to new sec or something. This, and now I can work with this new sec. With I can touch the notes and add new notes here. The one thing I'd already noticed is that this is going to be annoying because my notes are actually shared pointers. So I want to add some helpers to make this nice to work with. So let's go back to how I'm working with these notes. Note shared notes. Make shared. Here it is. So currently that's how I'm creating a new note. I guess it's okay. I can work with that. It's not the most ergonomic way to work with. I can create a helper for this. So what I can do is I can have the sequence help me by doing something like shared note, create note, and I can actually do it by reference, right? Not that it matters. Yeah. So yeah, create note, and this would just return. Yes, but I think I also need some constructors here. So I want a constructor that's going to help me construct the notes. So let's keep this default type note constructor. But now I can put another one that takes a note to use, const time range, time to use. And it just constructs note with the note to use and time with the time to use. Maybe it would help me to also have constructors here. So for example, a note can take a constructor to first take the note num, float velocity. This could be a default of 0.8 as velocity, and in channel equals 1. Note num to use, velocity to use, channel to use. Velocity to use, channel to use, and this should help me. Note num, velocity channel. It's a bit early out of this because I think many times I'm just going to construct this without any consideration for the channel. So this is okay. And then the time range already has constructors, I think, for the start and duration, right? Yeah. Okay, that should help me. And then I can do something like when I create a note, this would be something like return notes dot creates to make shared time note. I can also do something like that with like a, one can be this. Actually, I can just take a const timed note, new note equals nothing. So if you don't put something, it's going to be a default. And then this would just take the new note because this, is this not trivially copyable? What's wrong here? Not initialized. How is it possible? I can do this, but this sounds kind of weird. This should be initialized. This is a default constructor. Not sure about what's going on here. Okay, and then can't I use this with this? Deleted constructor of timed note. But I have a default one. It should be able to do this by default, or maybe do I have something here that is not defaulted? Note could be defaulted. Oh, the atomic. Oh, the atomic can be copied. Let me think about that. Okay, I think, do I have my copyable atomic here? I do have it. Okay, that should make it work. Okay, copyable atomic. That should make it copyable and should fix all these issues. And then when I create a new note, I can pass another one. So that should allow me oh, you know what's fun? I can actually, instead of passing a share note here, I can actually pass just a timed note reference. So so kind of not have the caller do not worry so much about the shared pointer semantics. So that, for example, the user now, which is my plugin, let's see if everything compiles. So the user now, which is my plugin, should be able to do something like, okay, yeah, first I need the sequencer, then I can do something like O2 note equals create, something like that. And then I can work with that note. I can do something like note dot note dot non. I still have to do this not note. Oh, I can do this, right? Did I make this? Yes. Note num equals 30 or something, or note number 30. Note velocity equals blah blah. Now, because it's a reference, I don't even have to do anything about this. I can just keep writing new notes, right? So I can just add notes and notes. Note 2, note 3. Just add notes here. Another option that I just made it possible to do, maybe even more ergonomic. I should now be able to do something like O2 note. Let's not do that. O2 note equals timed note, sequencer note. Right? I can make a note. Let's make a note with the number 30. Note with the number, oh, sorry, not my timed note. So the note number is 30, and the time, for example, it starts at the beginning. The beginning is 0, but the length is quarter note, right? And I should be able to do new sec create note. Just pass that. And I can keep on creating custom notes, right? So, like, for example, I can so I can now do something like make a for loop, int index equals, let's make index smaller than 16 notes. Let's do 16 notes plus index. And for each of these indexes, let's put the same note number in there for now. Double start equals 0, just 0, or O2 start equals 0.0. Slightly more organized. And then the start will be the start. Length is actually going to be the same for all the notes, just for now. let's make a length not 0.25. Let's make 0.125. No, 125. If I do yeah, so 125, right? That would be the yeah, the half of because I want to see the pauses in the sequence. You'll see that in a second. And then just start plus equals start plus equals 0.25. So just every quarter note, I'm going to put in a note, but the length is going to be half of that. So I'll see the breaks. This is just a one note sequence. It's going to be something like dup. It's basically quarter notes. So it's going to be dup, 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 dup with breaks every 8 notes. That's basically it. Like I should be able to add the sequence like this. And let's see what this might be pretty short, but let's see what this does. And if I mess something up, of course I messed something up. Oh, I forgot that I removed the CPU measure, so I can also remove the window that creates a measure. Ooh, looks like I have a an assert here. Let's see why. Oh, channel 0. How did I get a channel 0 there? Oh, because the default deconstructed one that has channel 0. Okay, let's do that. So that is 1 by default. That's something very stupid that JUCE did. They made channels work with 1 base indexes. Okay, where did I screw up? Oh, see what happens. The display does not like the fact that I think the problem is my display didn't like the fact that the sequence is kind of lazily created. Is that what happened? No, this should have been called before. What did I do that was wrong there? This is okay. But then it's crashing because I was kind of assuming there's going to be 2 sequences because I did something for rush E. So let's just now do this correctly. So for so just things I did when I was testing rush E, and now I can just switch to make the UI look exactly like the sequence. Okay, what did I get? Why do I get nothing in here? Let's see what I did do wrong. Oh, I didn't give it a sequence time. So I need to let's say that I want the whole sequence to be so I got 4 notes, quarter note, or 16 notes. So I can just make the thing be just 1 bar. Yeah, sorry. So these ones, yeah, because one is 1 quarter note. I forgot. Oh, sorry. So these are actually 16th notes, and my breaks are 32nd note. Yeah, so this should be 1 bar, hopefully. No. Oh, I also need. Do I need to know the sequence time? Oh, maybe I do. So maybe that sequence time 3 equals 4. This is confusing. I have to put it in multiple places, so I'm going to fix that pretty soon. No, so what's wrong there? Length, okay. When editor constructs it, it goes here. So to construct the windows. All right, the sequence has some position. It has notes. The notes have the times of start something, then later start. Oh, velocity 0. That's not good. That's probably why I didn't do anything. Or didn't show anything. Let's give it. Better default here. So maybe the default for the velocity is like 0.8. Awesome. So it played the sequence, but it didn't show me anything. I wonder why. Oh. Maybe I was starting with something too negative. Yeah, this is a bug. So if I have yeah, it doesn't make any sense to show. Maybe it does. Does it make sense to show the component before 0? Yeah, I mean, I should be able to see it before 0. Then it should kind of scroll into it, but then I will never see it. Right? Let's do something like x equals to max. Is that double? Double. Okay, so 0 x. Now let's see what happens if let's ignore the scrolling for a second. See what this was supposed to be showing. So instead of doing a scrolling sequence, let's make just a regular sequence display. See what this looks like. Okay. So probably there's a problem here with how I'm grabbing the, see what the note size it was trying to do. So the rect is, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay, I see what happens. The problem is, I have a problem if there's only one note in the sequence. Oh, okay, range length. I was dividing by 0 here. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. What are we going to do with this? Because what do I do if I only have one note in the sequence? Start range, start end. Yeah, let's do this so that there's a minimum here. Or maybe this should be get length plus 1. Anyway, let's start with that. There you go. Look at this beautiful sequence. This looks better. Okay. The question: why one note crashes it? So it's just because there's a lot of functions here that I wrote in a very naive way. I need to think better about the math here. But what I'm doing here, I was trying to do something where, like, if I have 2 notes or whatever how many notes the sequence has, it's gonna zoom into that range, so that if the sequence has 20 notes or 3 notes, you're gonna get the maximum zoom possible for these amount of notes, which isn't like the most beautiful way to do this. But anyway, what happens is if the range length is 0, which means that there's only one note and there's no that's how the JUCE range works, means that the start and the end of the range, no ranges are the same. This returns to 0, and then I'm dividing by that 0, and then I crash. So it's really just a matter of my drawing math wasn't very beautifully done at that point, I think. But now I kind of fixed it. The only thing I don't do, which I probably should, there's no element of looping here. No element of looping here, so I probably need to do, okay, so let's start first of all by making a much longer sequence. So let's make this let's make this 64 notes and make the sequence be 4 bars. In a second, I'm going to make this more interesting musically, but this should give us the 4-bar sequence. There it is. Good. I don't have any looping implemented, but this is the general idea. Kind of screws up with my brain the way these colors look. Okay, so if we do that, then let's just alternate between different notes here. So let's make something like so that if index, this is going to be pretty rough. If index, if basically every even note, let's make the note 30, and then let's make it what would be a fifth, like a 36, I think. No, it would be 37. So let's see if that works. And you see, this is kind of annoying because first of all, what I did now is that I was leaving a blank space now, which is probably correct for like a piano roll, but for a game, we probably don't want to do that. Like there's actually no reason. Well, maybe there's a reason. We'll have to think about it, because this is realistic. This means that there's a bigger interval here. Let's play some higher notes here. Let's do this 42 and 49. And also let me change the tempo to like 100 so that we'll have time to hear this beautiful sequence. Okay, so the problem with this, as I see it, is so I need to rethink, a bit of the visualizing part, because right now, again, if there's going to be a keyboard where eventually something is going to happen, in these middle notes, that makes sense. The problem is, I think maybe for a rhythm game, I need to think more of how I want to visualize things. Like I can actually remove these and kind of decide that I want to check the. It says feels like a bar mitzvah. Yes, exactly. That is exactly the baseline. The baseline, or like the tuba line or whatever in a bar mitzvah. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about all the memories. Anyway, yeah. So this is just 1/5 apart, and this is how this is how it currently visualizes it. So we need to think more of. It doesn't even make sense to visualize the entire sequence. Like if I want to make a rhythm game and I want the user to look at this and kind of click something, I don't even know if it's very descriptive. Oh, but now let's go back to the scrolling, thing. So this should be scrolling sequence instead of the regular sequence. Okay, here we go. And I wonder if I can. How would that look if I change this? Like if I let it scroll into the beginning, because it should be able to work, right? Okay, just going to work anyway. So I probably don't need this anyway. Okay, but it does do the scrolling. Okay, and now I need to think of what would be the best way to maybe visualize. First of all, let's make something even simpler, like coordinates. Let's ignore the actual node values here. Let's make one note, just like I did before. And let's make the length. Let's make this way slower. Let's do length is 5. And the start is 1. So literally just 1 coordinates. Not what I expect to do. Blah, 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 length 5 plus 1. No, so I won't have overlapping notes. Yes. Here you go. Beautiful music. So I need to think of like a way to also time the user's action with this. So let me commit this and added ways to manually program sequences. Might need to take a break for a few minutes. I'll be right there. Be right back. All right, I'm back. So what I did just before is that I was working away so that I can do something like this, where I kind of programmatically create a sequence with start nodes and stuff. And I'm gonna make it even slower thing. Let's do something where, yeah, let's make it a half. So the sequence is like a half. Something like. Yeah, so like two quarters, length is 1/4. Sorry, 1/4 note. Okay, great. And what I need is I want to do something where I'm starting to measure the time here. So let's think of how we're going to do this. Also, I'm feeling like I might drive me crazy if I'm going to listen to this kind of a sequence. So I might think about something else. But let's start with that. So what I need to do first is I want to make sure that the whole, what I call scrolling sequences here, this whole thing does not need to use set intercepts mouse click false, because I don't want any mouse events here. I'm gonna start by let's do something where I'm right on top of the editor here. I'm going to place something here called let's call it keyboard handling. Inherit some components, and what this does is this is going to take something like a key pressed. I'm going to override that, and this should help me handle the keyboard events in the game. So first of all, I'm going to keyboard handling, just grab the keyboard focus immediately. And let's start by just debugging what I'm pressing, see that it works. So let's debug key dot get description. So with that, also, I would just temporarily actually just disable this thing here just because it's going to drive me crazy. So I'm going to make this thing silent for a little while. Good. Oh, and I need to answer that I am also that I'm also returning true, because otherwise this would crash. Okay. Oh, and I need to add this to the editor. So let's go to the editor and put the keyboard handling in there. It needs to be placed. So I can make visible handling. The handling also needs to be the most frontal one, so that's important. Oh, assertion. What's this beautiful assertion? There you go. Oh, he's showing. I can only do this when this is visible. So, visibility changed, and only then I can do this. These are all pretty hacky things to do in an app, but hopefully for our little test, it's gonna work well enough. No? Yeah, so I called it make visible. Let's call this, and it said, okay, so I probably should do something like if is showing. Okay, I'm not getting the keyboard focus, looks like. Let's see why. Resized it. I added it. I might need to explicitly tell it. Oh, I might need this. This might be useful. But also, I think while handling my handling thing in the beginning needs to be maybe explicitly say set once keyboard focus true. Okay, here you go. Now I get the keyboard. That's good. So what I need for this to work is I need to communicate this a little bit to the processor so that we can know when in musical terms that key was pressed. That's how we're going to measure time. So JUCE has something for this. It's called, I'm going to use the JUCE thing for now. It's going to be JUCE MIDI. It's called MIDI keyboard state. This is going to be a rough way to do this, right? This is going to be okay? Yeah, so I'm going to use this. What this would do, and I'm probably going to be doing my own version of this. That's more suitable for what I'm doing, but I'm going to start with that. Okay, so for the key, I'm just going to basically look at all keys as the same one for now. I'm not going to even differentiate between different keys. But what I'm going to do is state.note on 30, 50 velocity or something. Yeah, that's pretty much it, what I'm going to do. And then what I'm going to do on the processing side, here, there's going to be JUCE MIDI keyboard state, key state. And then here at the beginning, what I'm going to do is key state dot Yeah, can I do this without without a buffer? Can I just like process? I've never used the other one. Process next MIDI event. Is that just okay? Yeah. So, oh, this is when I'm giving it a MIDI message. No, this is not what I want. No. So what I need to do is I need to have like some MIDI buffer. Let's call it UI MIDI. And this is going to be doing UI MIDI.clear. I'm going to process the next MIDI buffer with UI MIDI. Start 0 buffer.get num samples. Inject indirect events true. And then for each of the MIDI in the UI MIDI, events, we are going to debug and say pressed at, and where it's pressed is actually the transport dot position. So that's going to be the musical time where the event was posted in. So I don't even care about the fact that it's about what the MIDI event was for now. And I'm not even processing it. I'm not fetching this MIDI into the sound. I'm just kind of abusing MIDI mechanism. It cannot be. It could be something that's not MIDI for that matter. But now handling needs to take the plugin .UI MIDI. Not UI MIDI. It's MIDI state, key state. Okay. Oop. Still getting a cert. Let's see why. Did I put in again when I'm setting this MIDI from the editor? How am I doing this? You inspired me to do 1 a.m. coding. All right. I love 1 a.m. coding. Absolutely, you should be doing that. Set pounds. You can get it in a great flow in 1 a.m. I think. What is this channel? Note number. Oh, 50. It's like 0.5. That's what happens when you're abusing this thing for something it's not meant for. So let's do that. Okay, so this is the musical time when I posted this. Now we can use this. So the best kind of coding, the kind I'm overthinking everything and getting stuck on bugs of plus minus for 10 minutes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so what I've done now, this is actually where things are getting fun. So I've done this thing where now a processor actually knows when I'm pressing something, and I can actually know if I pressed a note in time, basically. So one way to do this, and I'm just gonna what I'm doing now is very hacky, but one way to do this is we can check, just for simplicity, if any notes were played or any notes are still held in the sequencer. And if they are, we'll be like, good job, you've hit a note or something, right? Something like that. So so for example, for basically I can use it like player, right? Player.player. So 402 players, player.players or player. Let's I can just do. Can I just do if UI MIDI dot num events bigger than 0? Because I'm just going to ignore the events for now. Let's make a function here that says void handle user event. And then what this is going to do is it go through all the player of the player.players, and then if player playing notes is not empty, this is a very basic way to do this. If there aren't any notes, then let's do bool has playing notes. This would be a bit better. Playing notes. So if one of them is not empty, return true. Otherwise, return false at the end of the loop, and then void const, and then void handle user note, and then if has playing notes, dbg good job, and otherwise dbg you missed. Okay, so this is my this should basically be the essence of my rhythm game. That's we're gonna put some better visualizing to this, but this should be the very basic mechanics of rhythm game. So if we have no event, then handle user notes. This is the most like uninspiring way to do this, but this hopefully should give some idea of what it means. So here's my musical notes. There we go. Okay, let's bring back the sound and see if I can see how good I can do this. By the way, which buffer size I'm working with, because this would actually work better. 128, this should be okay. And then we probably need to visualize, we'll have to think about that, but how to visualize the wrong user notes. So if I missed, it's gonna pop up like something about where I put it. I can do that now. Actually, this is gonna be much more fun than this. So handle. So what I'm gonna do here is double. This is all done now. I really have to start putting this in structs. Yeah. So let's start doing this a bit more correctly, because I'm going to pass this whole thing. So let's call it something like user note info or something. This is going to have these two things, and also an atomic double of user note position. I'm just kind of assuming this could be only one for now. And then let's just like void trigger user note would be what I did just earlier in the display part. So this thing. And then all this note stuff are all going to go in there. Maybe has playing notes would not go there. Actually, I don't even need to check. I can just print it. So this is a question: how do you set how forgiving the system is? So we're literally just going to do that right now. So there's a few ways to do this. I might be getting some delivery of sorts, and then I'll have to go grab that. But until then, so there's a few ways to do this. One way is we can actually add, we can make two that's probably even a better way. So we probably can add 2 nodes to the sequencer, or 1 node that has multiple events in it. One is the let's call it control event, and one is the actual musical event, and they could be different. Another way to think about this is we can actually test like right now what I'm doing is I'm actually, when I'm processing if a note has succeeded, I'm going to the playback of the sequencer. Like I'm checking what's played in the sequencer. I don't have to do that. What I can do instead, and that's also, you know what? I might be able to do that even without this whole mechanism. So what I could do, I'm already reporting to the UI what is the current time. Like it knows that. You know what? Maybe I should write the game like this. That's also another way to. So I kind of made this a little bit more accurate because I've been thinking also of the situation of a MIDI controller controlling this, not just the UI. But oh. All right, I might have to go fetch somebody. Yeah, it's because if I even check through the sequencer at all. Yeah, I might not even need to check through the sequencer. I thought about checking through the sequencer because of the situation of all right. So why do I check through the sequencer? So I don't have to check through the sequencer. I can actually do this whole check stuff happen externally. So you can check the time fit right and then build the player mechanics from there. Yeah, exactly. So I can because at the point of press, I actually already know the current report time by the sequencer. I can just do that right then, right? Because so maybe that will be a better way to do this. So let's try to think of this. Let's try to remove this whole mechanism that I just did and do something else. So instead of doing that, I'm going to remove all this stuff. Let's remove all this stuff. And let's think of that. That would definitely be a simpler way to do this. I'm going to think more about the reason why I guess I wanted also to do user mechanics here because I wanted user mechanics to sometimes play sounds. Like you'll hit a note, you'll hear a ding, but I can do that in some other way as well. Like I can still make all these decisions in the UI as well. So what I could do is so what I can do is in the UI bit that I just had here, instead of passing this keyboard state, I can pass, let's just start with something like a sequence, but this is not going to obviously work, but something like a sequencer sequence. Yeah, sec to use. What are we doing today? So I'm working on a little rhythm game. I can't even show this right now, but I'll show a bit later. What I wrote up until now is I wrote a sequencer. I wrote a visualizer for that sequencer that kind of does side scrolling for notes. I wrote a bunch of things around it. I wrote this little synth for this to work, and then now I'm just doing something that would evaluate the timing of the players' actions like keyboard presses, which I tried to do some other way, but I'm going to redo that in a slightly different way now that we've discussed a simple way to do what I thought about. So sequencer sequence. So the question is, rhythm game releases on the new Switch too. Yeah, why not? I would definitely happy to make it on the Switch too if this materializes to like a fun game. Ideally, it would work on a bunch of platforms. So I actually don't know if JUCE code would compile to the Switch too. So this is going to be fun to find out. I'm guessing the Switch 2 is a sort of Linux machine, but I don't know the specifications of how that would work and what it means to display things on screen. So it's gonna be fun. You can go back to the player, affect the sequencer, or can it close the... So I can do whatever I want, but I also need to worry about threading and like correctness of this. So for example, if I would do what I'm about to do, if I want, like, for example, the player's hit to play a sound, I would need to post that back to the audio thread, like what I just tried to do. All right, so let me just do this quickly so that we can get something going. Then I might need to take another break. So, okay, so if I get the sequence here, let's do. I'm just ignoring the fact that there's actually what I'm doing now is actually a huge race condition, but it's not going to matter with fixed levels. It's only going to be a problem when I'm replacing levels. So what I'm doing now is I can do, because I know here I already have a double of the current position and an atomic that I'm posting back to the UI. So what I could do is I'm going to just store this here for simplicity. So I'm just going to do something like can this be a non-atomic? This could just be a non-atomic for now because it's just going to come from the UI thread, but it's not ideal that this is on the UI thread. So I can see it flashing before my eyes. I start the console, open the game, and right there, prelude saying Modelic Studios. The beautiful head cannon has not yet let me. I love what's going on here. Modelic Studios present fades into black before the menu opens. That would be awesome. That would be pretty awesome, I have to admit. Okay, anyway, so I'm just doing something pretty horrible here. Just like user pause equals 0. User action pause. Let's remove this once proper code structure is in place, because this has nothing to do with the sequencer. This is just me hacking this little thing. And then if a key was pressed, I can do the state user position equals to the state dot position dot load, which is the currently reported position of the sequencer. And now that I know this, first of all, I can, in some other place, I can visualize it. So let's do it right here. So here in my real sequence, I'm going to, so when I go through all the notes, how do I do this here? Scale 2, right? So let's see how am I going to do this. So I have a vector of nodes, so I'm going to put another vector of thing called user node. Pretty much the same thing. The user node because I can just do this on a timer. So I'm going to hack this whole timer to do horrible things. So the user node, it needs to have an actual note in there, right? Because it's like so I don't need a note info here. Let's just put something. Let's just paint it myself. Let's look at my little scaling operation here. You know what? I can just put a component. This would just be the simplest thing. So let's put another component here. Call it something like user note. Perfect. We're basically making up Eyal's future first big entry into the gaming scene today. Yes, exactly. And it's been looking good. You should see the previous streams. I just my code isn't compiling now, so that an actual demo would happen. But pretty soon it will look pretty good. So let's do. I can load Bach pieces here. I can load Rush E sequences. It's fun stuff. Oh my god, the comment section is amazing today. I'm extremely happy with this. Okay, so I'm just going to do a component, and this is going to look super stupid. All this thing does is that let's do so that it takes the entire sequence. No, you know what? Let's not do. Let's just do it so that. For now, I'll just do a paint graphics G, and this would just do something like G fill all colors, green or something, some other color than the one I was using before. Let's just do this. Here I need something like an on timer function because it's not going to be just repaint. Timer, not time. Timer. This would repaint, but also let's put the user note in there. User note. And this would scale it to scale the user note to the position would be sequence that user action pause. That would be the X. Y would be but it needs, this is an slash sec dot duration because it's something like relative time equals to this. So this would be the this should be a float as well. So float. So it needs to be the relative time is the X, then Y is just 0. Width is let's do something like let's do something like a duration or width. The comment check section here is unbelievable, but I'm just getting into the flow of finishing this and then getting my burrito. But yes, so the width is something like a quarter note. So same with this thing, like a float version of this. So this would be the width. Height is just full on. Yeah, so one quarter note long, basically, just that we'll see it clearly. We're scaling it. So we need to add and make visible user note. Yes. Okay, let's see what we got here. Use this needs the sequence instead of whatever it was taken before. But now it's something like sequences 0. because I don't support control of multiple sequences yet. Okay. Don't see it yet. So user action position seems low. That should be okay. Let's see if I got this one right. Oh my god, the comment section is amazing here. They're creating my entire business model. Yeah, this thing is probably good. So let's see what I did here in my UI that was screwed up. Keep focus, okay, and here in the sequence. Okay. Oh. I'm 0.02. That's kind of weird. Why is that? User action position for duration is 16. Okay. I guess it makes sense. Y0 with this. I think it sounds correct, right? What I was expecting basically is that I would see my note played. Oh, you go. It's moving, but it's not moving. Yeah, it should be moving way more to the right. Let's see why not. Relative time, action position. So either I'm not setting it correctly. Oh, maybe position here is 0 to 1. Oh, it's possible this is already 0 to 1. And if that's the case, I don't care about duration. I can just do that. Let's see if this is good. It's possible the position is already here we go. Okay, so this is my timing, right? I'm pressing. You can see the green kind of overlaps. Doop, doop, right? I'm clicking, and whatever I'm clicking, this is where it shows up in the sequence. So now, just for fun, I can also kind of make a decision about the winning click. But I'm going to need to take a break for a few minutes, so I'll come back soon. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. How's everyone going? How's everyone doing? The comment section has been unbelievable here, talking about the comment section in the last 15 minutes has been unbelievable, talking about my plan to take over the world. So much fun in that comment section on Twitch. Okay. Oh wait, where are my glasses? Okay, so I think I have this in my head, some plan of what I'm going to do now. I am going to very quickly basically split this whole screen to three things. So first one, I did this little thing with the user hit area, which I'm going to type here. Let's call it user hit area. It's just going to visualize the thing that visualizes this. So I'm just going to steal what I put here with the user note. I want to put it just in a different space, visual space from where the sequence, like the musical sequences. So this should have the sequencer sequence sec to use. It's going to be a component. It's going to take sequence in here. User hit area, not user note. This thing would probably go back to just be a repaint here, but I would have another I'm just going to move in the timer here. Do I even need to repaint this? I don't even need to repaint here. I'm just going to scale. This would repaint the child component. And here, okay, so could you show what you already have? I would. Okay, could you show what you already have? I'd be interested in seeing what this is about. Yes, I just because the only reason I'm not showing this is because my code isn't compiling, but it would compile in a couple of minutes. So I would be yeah. So basically, yeah. So I'm going to show the entire thing pretty soon. Basically, what a lot of the previous streams have been about, I've been creating a sequencer. There's a bunch of classes here to deal with sequencing, so I can load a MIDI file. I load a MIDI file. It automatically can parse the MIDI file, and then it can, when it plays it, it kind of has a playhead. It scrolls the sequence, does nice side scrolling. We're gonna we can show this pretty soon once I finish with this little refactor. So it scrolls, from left to right, shows you where you are in the sequence. It plays it through a synth that I also wrote on one of the streams, and then it on the display side, it kind of highlights, the velocity and where we are, and side scrolls through the sequence. And what I'm adding now is the bit where you're, pressing my keyboard, not the MIDI keyboard, but the computer keyboard. And it detects the time and does some score calculation. But one of the things we did in the previous stream was that we had to optimize the sequencer itself to play something like Rush E, or some very complicated sequence. So we needed to make sure this works with multiple parts in the MIDI file. So I was testing with so that's basically it. And now I've kind of destroyed the little structure of it because I'm doing the user interaction bit. Yeah, so this should be, right? This is the function, so this should be here. Yeah, okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm extracting the user hit area out of this. And then now when I'm scrolling in my little scrolling sequence, then I am update sequence, and I'm just going to show the sequencer display and the user note area inside of the same scroll. Not user note, it's called user hit area. User hit area. This is also pretty soon to show. Sec. This is all very hacky. So the question is, will you OpenGL it? Yeah, very likely. Very likely. Like now I'm just doing very basic drawing here with like JUCE drawing. It's very, very, very likely that I'm going to switch to OpenGL pretty soon and write some, more interesting graphics. Well, I think I'll do that once I get a good flow of what the game is and what the mechanics are and stuff like that. Then I'm going to start to get deeper into actual graphics instead of these, more basic rectangles. So I wanted to start with JUCE because I wanted this to be sequencer based. Like there's a lot of sequencer stuff I want to put in there where the user actually impacts the sound. So probably kind of have to do with more advanced visualizations. Yeah, absolutely. So this is very likely where this would be going with like more serious graphics and stuff. But I wanted the sound and interaction stuff to be more to get a bit of feel for it before I start to deal with the more advanced graphics. Also, it's very possible that I'm going to discuss that with an artist. Someday we hopefully can vulcanize it. I mean, I can vulcanize. I can definitely, like, even in this context of a JUCE app, I can start a window that would use Vulkan, for example, or Metal. It's very possible that I would even do this in Metal and direct 3D or something like that. But we'll see. There's going to be a bunch of discussions about the visualizing techniques. I did this because I wanted to make sure. So there's a question. Yeah, but inherent JUCE support would be sick. I mean, the JUCE thing could maybe, because JUCE can open an OpenGL window, and I can probably hack JUCE enough to make it open a Metal window or something. There's some like low level piping in place, but if I'm going to write shaders, I don't need so much interaction from JUCE, so it should be pretty straightforward to do. Just open the kind of hijack the window. The problem with JUCE is that usually if you want to use the JUCE component system, then and kind of integrate my own components made with Vulkan and JUCE components made with something else, it's not going to work so well. Anyway, I'm getting on a rant here. I was really trying to make sure that I get some mechanic to show on screen so that we can have a playable game. Not really a playable game, but playable mechanic. Playable mechanic with a timeline running and all. Blah, 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 blah. Where was I? Oh, wait, what's going on here? Okay, so what I want to do, I want to show this user hit area. I need to make it like this so that both of these, user hit area. So both of these kind of get stretched to the same size as the main viewport. Show them. Okay, that's okay. And then probably forgot something in how to make this compile, but hopefully the compiler would tell me what I forgot. Oh, when I set the bounds here, I probably should. I want to make it use a different height. So let's do something like instead of the full get heights, let's do something like get height. So let's do O2 main display height. Main display height would be float get height times 0.7. And then this would be I need this back into int. So this would be get height minus main display height. This would be the main display height. And this would be display get bounds with height. User height. So the height is user height, and the with y is 0. I think that's about right. There's a big chat in the chat, something in the chat about, oh, did I do the other way around? Display bounds is user height. Yeah, isn't that correct? What did I forget here? Main display height is okay, so this would have this y. This should have the height 90 and y 0, like above. Is that not correct? I want this to be lower. Oh. How would that work if I'm inside? Yeah, so I think I need to do something else here. I think I need to put something like a scrollable area. There would be even a better way to do this. So this would be just scrollable area component, scrollable area. This would actually create these two things. This would be a much better way to do this. So I'm going to take the sequence, sec to use, then make visible display, make visible user hit area, and then just here in resized, I'm going to just apply my beautiful scale of the display. Let's start with the user hit area. It's going to be, now it's going to be relative, so much better. So 0, 0 with full height 0.2, like 20%, and then the display would start at 0.2 and would have 0.8 as the height. So that should be it. That's a much better way to do this. Now I can just remove all this crap. area sec initialize like this. I can just go back to what it was before. So this will just be the full height. 0. I don't need any of this stuff. No need for any of this stuff. So I think that should be good. There you go. That's good. I just need to get my user area to show. User hit area, what did I miss? User hit area. Zero, zero, that's good. What did I forget for this to work? Well, this code is just it's getting way too much stuff done in one file. Let's debug this. Go down. Oh, it doesn't. I put on timer there, but I didn't put an actual timer. So, events timer. Is that what the syntax is like? Yeah, right. Timer takes this. Good. Here we go. Okay, so right now above the thing I have where I clicked. So the thing above just represents where my the timing of the user. So that's pretty good. I'm kind of intentionally I'm not playing any sound just because the sound of this like test level is annoying, but there will be a test level coming pretty soon. So let's, now that I get this, let's add one more thing, which is going to be the score. It's going to be the most simplified way to show the score. So did I already make like some basic text thing here? No, I'm just going to use the JUCE label for now. So struct score display. It's going to be beautiful. Look at this beautiful thing. It's going to be a component. It's going to take the sequence. And, oh, okay, so let's do, let's make this a function here on the sequence. I'm going to do this simple, like I'm going to allow myself to even, you know, get multiple points by clicking the same node, just to see if we can get something to work. So let's do something like void user note. Don't even need to know which one it is. User note. I'll put something horrible in here. You you know what? No, I'm going to do this a bit more correct. Let's do something here called user score or something like that. Action position is here. User note would take the sequence. Sequence. Then user action position equals to sec position load. So that's good. Now we can check if any note is being played. So I can go over note sec notes. If note is playing, load, then I can put some score here in score. But I do want to make sure that I'm not double. Yeah, so let's do something like a vector of shared note. Let's do something like press notes. It says, I really have to say, for me, it's always confusing having more than one big or 4 small custom file. Yes, I'm going to break it down. This is just like my stream of consciousness. So it's actually very, next step would probably be have each of these classes into its own file. I'm also not a fan. It's just one of these things you do when you're trying to conceptualize something. So I very quickly move things to files usually. So this is the nature of not vibe coding, but actual coding while I do this. So you make them in one file, then separate. Yeah. I just write it as I'm like prototyping, trying to figure out which classes I need. And then I would, eventually, put the stuff in the modules and have files and make it like, I'm also not a fan of like a million things in a file. So just for quicker way for things to compile and make sure that actually I'm using them, right? Because sometimes you'll see me write something and then just discard it completely. So it's good to not just open files and then delete them. Yeah, so let's go. I want to do something where this isn't perfect, but I just want to do something like played notes, because I want to make sure that I'm not giving the user too many points for the same notes. So what I'll do is, if it's playing and playing doesn't contain note, then played notes. Add if not there. Note. We can just add. Just add that. Add note plus score. Yeah, pretty much. Is this going to be a UI project or more a game like software? What does that mean? What does it mean more like a game like? Like, is there UI for the rhythm stuff, or is there characters jumping around? Yeah, I mean, that doesn't exist just yet, but now I just have the visual, like, squares showing where the music is, and we can hear them. We'll see soon when I'm gonna go back once I finish this. I'll bring back my Bach piece, and I'll try to play a bit through the Bach piece. So it's just squares, but hopefully at some point we're gonna get like character images or something moving or something better. I still need to find out, like, think of like who's gonna design this and who's gonna help me do the art part of the game. But hopefully that will clear up in a few streams while the game mechanic would make sense, and I would know more about what needs to happen here. Okay, so this is how we add the score. Let's start with that, and then let's remove this now for a second. Okay. Yeah, because yes, I need both of these. Then this isn't, by the way, the best way to do this. I'm now just checking if the note is being played, but I'm actually going to do something better to. I'm going to do something better on the part where you actually test, like, so that we can have variable levels of difficulty or something. So I might actually test the range compared to this number, because each note has a range where we know it's played, and we can then extend the range while checking, and we can do more fun things about this. So this is just a placeholder, I guess. So I have this thing called the user score. Let's put it here. Here's a score. Sequencer. Why is it under the sequencer namespace? I have no idea. Score or user score, I don't know, whatever. And then here, this thing called keyboard handling is also going to take a sequencer user score to use. And this would just do score user note. It's just a sequencer now. Stop that. Okay, and this would update both the position and the score. Now the score would take a score doesn't need the user position. It just needs doesn't need the sequence. It just needs the sequencer user score display. And same as before, this would just have a timer. And we're going to optimize these timers very soon, but and this would just do something like let's call it update. Just with a JUCE label text. Add my fillable text. Void resized. Not this. Yes. When we update, let's do text. Let's do something. Let's do something like text set specification, JUCE justification, center, font, right? So you just size 20. JUCE font options. 20. And then text. So text, and this would be the score, I guess. So, but as a string. Does that not work? Okay, explicit. So let's make this string. this is pretty much it. This is the score display. And then in the editor, take both of these. This would take the score. So plugin.use score. I want a game where you can scroll the scroll bar itself, but the scroll bar is from 1980. It's another scroll. I want a game where you can rim the sky. That is so good. Okay, blah, 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 resized. So here I'm going to do let's take the sequence to be 0, 0, 1, 80%, and then the score would be 0, 0.8, 1, 20%. Oh, I also need to pass that in somehow. So that also needs now the user note. Basically need to keep passing those through the interface. So this now needs sequencer score to use. Okay. Okay, let's bring back the sound so that we'll hear something and see if I got this to work. Bring back the synth. This level is just one note, plays in half notes. It's very simple. Okay, let's try it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, let's make that if I missed, I will lose a point, so that it's a little bit more fun. And so let's go to where is my little thing that does all the calculation here. That'll be the last thing I'll probably do for now. So if the note is playing, this is probably not a good idea. Let's do something like that. Let's do bool valid note. Oh, but that's actually confusing because I need. Oh, no, that's actually good. So otherwise, because I don't want you to get two scores of the same thing. So I need bool success. Let's do success equals true. And then outside of that, if success plus score, else minus score. And then maybe, yeah, let's let myself go to minus, so I can have a minus score. Let's see if that works. Okay, here you go. That's good. That's good. Okay, but there's still a bug now that if I'm playing before the note, it doesn't. That works, and minus, so it works, but I need to change my by testing here so that it actually does proper testing. So let's do something like so that, because I want to make sure that if I press it right before the note, it's still valid. So let's do something like oh, I think this is now relative, right? I might need to store it in well, I'm gonna start with this for now. I'm gonna commit this and says added initial way to test the user's actions. And see if the note was actually playing while a key was hit or something. Am I frozen in time? Am I frozen? Am I not streaming? Is this not working? Or was I just like staring at the screen? Oh, so I was literally frozen. Like in real life, I was frozen. Just asking ChatGPT what to do. No, right now I don't have a ChatGPT problem. I don't have a programming problem. I have maybe a brainstorming problem. Yeah, I think it's actually a good time to end the stream here. I might come back on a couple of hours from now, so stay tuned.